This presentation is about the process of assessing future informational needs. The process shows how to prioritize information decisions in order to determine when information is needed and for what. The following are the steps of the process. The first step is to identify the issues that decision makers would most likely face and the decisions to be made. The second step is to list the information needs for each decision we are to make. The third step is to create a taxonomy, which is a way by which we classify the information gathered. The idea is to match similar information gathered together in order to see what other information we could need. The fourth step is to prioritize information by rating it on a scale from 0 to 7, where 0 is irrelevant and 7 being the most important. The last step would be to develop a resource allocation plan based on the data collected and analyzed, where resources should be allocated based on whether the information is needed to be collected immediately, routinely, occasionally, or only when we have a need. Meet me. I had just completed the first third of my career, upon which I came to school to study health system administration, aiming to reposition my work expertise in order to obtain a specialization in healthcare administration. I'm graduating in December, and the big question is, what should I do next? The decision to be made by me is whether to stay in the US and work, go back home and either seek a job or start a consulting company. The last decision is whether to seek a job in the United Arab Emirates, given the opportunities that are arising there. The information needed. As we can see, for the decision number 1, I need to know how is the job market today in the US, what is the salary average, and what are the future prospects. If a work visa is possible, and information about the quality of life, cost of living, and schooling for children being important. For decision number 2, I need to know how is the job market as well at home, and what is the average salary, what is the price for a consulting day, and what is the potential for consulting business in order to compare it with the salary. And finally, I need to know the future prospects. And as well, for decision number 3, I need to know the information about what is the salary average, future prospects, if a working visa is possible, and information about the quality of life, cost of living, and schooling for children. If we categorize, we can have the following: information needed, the cost of living, quality of life, schools for children, future prospect, and potential income. In the following table, we can see the data analysis, or the ratings. The categories are ranked in terms of priority needs for information collection as pertains to each decision, upon which both the average and the range of the ranks were calculated. For example, information need about cost of living in the US is ranked at 1, quality of life is ranked at 2, schooling is ranked at 2. The reason these are ranked low because I'm currently living here and I have information enough about these 3 items. However, I don't have enough information about the future career prospects and the income, and therefore it's ranked at 7. The same can apply at home. I have an idea about the cost of living because I just came from there. I have about the quality of life because I lived there all my life. Schooling for children, I have the same idea, but I still don't have an idea about the future prospects and income. Now, after being away for 1 year, as for the United Arab Emirates, I have no idea about anything, therefore information need is immediate, hence it's ranked at 7. How do we make decisions? This is how we decide on the collection of the priority. If the range is small across the ratings and the average rating of importance is high, then it is essential to collect information now. If the range is wide and the average is high, then we must plan to collect data now. This is a rapid data collection. If the range is small and the average is low, then this is a low priority item we can ignore. And finally, if the range is wide and the average is low, collect data when needed. This is how decisions are made. Here are the results of the analysis. As we can see here, the cost of living range is high and the average is low, then it is periodic collection. The same applies for the quality of life and for children's schooling. As for both the future career prospects and income, the range is 0, very low, and the average is high, which is 7, then this information is essential and should be collected immediately. Hence, I should proactively collect information on the latter two and collect information periodically when needed on the first 3 categories. Advantages and disadvantages of this method. There are a number of clear advantages for the proposed methods of needs assessment. First and foremost, the approach focuses on future needs and reduces possibility of identifying information no longer needed. Second, it is a decision-driven methodology which minimizes the potential reality for collecting data that may not be used. It clarifies the context within which the information be used. Third, relying on a group rather than an individual, the approach minimizes the design of the system around idiosyncratic characteristics of you people. Finally, and fourth, by adding external experts to the membership of the group, the methodology emphasizes what organization ought to need. As for the disadvantages, the biggest advantage could be the differing opinions of the experts about the future, because it is subjective and nobody can really predict the future. And our decisions hence could be irrelevant to the real future needs. This has been a presentation about making decisions on what information is needed.